So last Friday I had my disc on,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like next level.
full carbon disc.
Yeah.
And I felt the wind. It was really windy and I was like, woo!
To just like hang on for your life. I mean,
Yeah, there's this balance between being like loose and relaxed and solid. So that you, like if you're like this, you're gonna be a problem.
yeah.
It's that balance between like being strong and stable on the bike, but also being nimble.
I feel like that's like a metaphor for life.
Thanks, that's what I was saying. Yes.
It goes back.
You see the black and the red line at the bottom. That's called the sprinter's lane. Mm-hmm. And when everybody's warming up on the track, if you're doing a speed effort,
Okay.
you stay in that lane. Like you see how they're going really fast.
Yeah.
Then during warm-ups on the track, if you are like you just got on the track and you're getting warmed up, you would be at the blue line, like at the blue line, sort of in that space. Now it gets bunched up sometimes.
That blue line?
That's
I see
almost
that
to the middle.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes,
it's almost
I see
in the
it.
middle.
Okay.
And then up at the top of the track, that area is called the rail. And Lisa right now is at the rail. She's winding up to do a 200-meter time trial. I think she's got another lap to go. So she's winding up. She's going to pick up speed with the momentum because she's going a little bit downhill there. Mm-hmm. She's going to hold on to that speed. You can see her effort. She's starting to push.
Yeah.
She's like 70%, 80%.
How fast is she going right now?
She's probably going to end up going 30-something miles an hour.
Oh my God.
Now she's gonna stand up and sprint somewhere over here.
Oh, wow.
And so, she's like sideways almost on the track. Now the 200-meter line, which is the time trial, there's a white line over here, over there, and then you dive down to the finish line.
Okay.
And get your fastest in the sprinter's lane. But the funny thing is, you're not in the sprinter's lane for the whole 200 meters.
Only at the end?
Because you're using the banking. You actually are going to go faster. It might be a little bit longer.
Okay.
But you're actually going to go faster if you use the banking correctly.
Okay. So, like, how long does it take to figure that out?
Because when you're doing the efforts, you kind of go like, blah! And you have to remember to be present and watch your line. Because the line of travel from the height of the banking here to like a golf course.
Okay.
Okay, like a golf course. You watch a golfer, they see the undulations on the ground, and so they know which way to pitch the ball, to hit the ball, to make it go. Now that's not about speed, that's just about angles. Angles, momentum, gravity, wind. And that concept plays a role in this, where once you get to know the track really well, you know the line of travel. You're also, though, going at speed, and you're like, wah!
Well, 30 miles an hour is pretty fast.
It's a little bit fast.
Yeah. I mean, and you're on this track, which is like basically
28 degrees banked. Yeah.
And so now, are all tracks the same?
No.
Okay, so that's not fun.
So this is 333 meters.
Right, you said that.
Right. And that means where the 200 meters happen on the track, in terms of the undulation, is different than how it is on a 250. Because,
that's just like so much math.
So much information. But really, it's about seeing and feeling the track. Now they're on what's called the apron. They are just like either preparing for or have just finished and are like catching their breath from an effort.
Okay.
That's called the apron. There's also another section of blue called the Côte d'Azur, which is blue in French, I think.
Côte d'Azur?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is an area where, like during a race, you're not allowed to go onto that really. Like if you get pushed onto it because someone overtakes you, sometimes that happens. It happened to me at Worlds last year during a match sprint where the other girl was up high and I was coming in fast in the sprinter's lane, but she did not really see me coming. And we had a little moment where I couldn't stay in the lane because she came into the lane.
Right.
And I had to go on to the blue, but I wasn't allowed to pass her on the blue. You cannot pass on the left on the Côte d'Azur when someone's in the sprinter's lane.
Got it.
I would have had to.
Yeah.
I was like, please let me in.
who has the right of way?
She does.
She does. Okay.
However, that was a situation that could have been questionable where I was in the lane.
Okay.
You're not supposed to come down on someone who's already there and push them out.
Right. But
So,
she can't see you from behind.
well,
or she can.
part of our
maybe.
responsibility is to keep looking.
Okay. Well, that's a good. That's a good thing to say. It's like sailing.
You have to.
You have to be able to see all
Right.
around. Yeah.
So that got a little tricky.
So now,
Now Missy's on the motor,
right.
and that's Mackenzie following her. She's doing the same effort practice that Lisa just did,
Okay.
but Missy on the motor is getting her up to a higher speed
was gonna
and giving
ask
her
about
a
that.
big draft.
Oh, so that's what's happening.
Yeah, that you can
That's
get
why
used
the
to
motor.
pushing that same gear faster when you're protected by there. So she just stood up there,
That's just amazing.
and
And it must be hard to ride those motorcycles too.
well, you have to have some skill there
Yeah.
because you're watching your rider behind you the whole time in the mirror, and you got to pay attention to holding your line in front, and you got to feather your speed. Like when you're getting a rider up to speed, you're very carefully managing that increase.
That's really like
It's-
it's really next level. I mean, just thinking about that as like a cyclist, right? Like in a Peloton, pacing
Mm-hmm.
people at just a regular,
Right.
like not
Like
on
a bike on a
motorbike.
bike.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just being able to like sometimes I'll ride with my friend Amory.
Yeah.
She's also a master cyclist,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like the only person I can ride with where I can actually get like up to 19, 20 miles an hour on a flat because she knows how to pace.
Right,
You know, when
right,
I ride with
right.
other people, I end up like mailing it in and dropping
Right.
back, and but it's like an art to be able to pace people.
Yeah, it
Even
is.
like
It
in
really
a marathon,
is.
there are pacers. Like
Yes.
I'm going like 12 on the hill, and
Right,
9.5
right.
on the flat. I'm unpaceable.
Yeah, and doing it with a motorcycle on a
Yeah,
banked
it's
track
crazy.
is like a whole.
And so do
whole
you
thing.
also have the whole like wheel thing where you like the bigger the wheel, the faster the bike on the track too, or is there a limit?
All
to
our
what
wheels
wheel-
are like
yeah,
this. You're all the same size.
That 404.
It's the 700C.
Oh, okay. That's the rims. Those are
The size of the wheel.
Okay.
The 700C.
okay. But what about the rim?
Oh, you
Like-
mean the tire?
Yeah, no,
Or you mean
this
the depth
part.
of the rim?
Yeah.
This part. Sorry.
I'm like,
You'll see a lot of different. You'll see a lot
I
of
do.
different. Well, it's funny. Some people like they say you gotta change your tire, and they don't realize that they're referring to the whole wheel.
Yeah.
But the wheel and the tire and the rim are all separate things.
Yes. Yeah. I just like.
I had
Yeah.
a conversation with someone. I'm like, no, I don't need to change my wheel. And they're like, but it's flat. I'm like, okay. That would
That's
be
the
like on the
tire.
road. I'd be like,
Yeah.
that's the tire. I don't need to change the wheel. Sorry.
I mean, I have two different rim sizes
Okay,
for my
yes,
tires.
yes, you have
For
a
my
deeper
wheels,
dish.
I just have like 36 and then 58.
Okay.
That's all I can handle. Like I get like blown over
Well,
side winds on 9W.
Right.
Yeah, and here, I mean,
so last Friday I had my disc on the back.
oh, okay. Yeah. That's like next level.
Full carbon disc.
Yeah.
And I felt the wind. It was really windy and I was like, woo!
To just like hang on for your life. I mean,
Yeah, there's this balance between being like loose and relaxed
Oh, yeah.
and solid, so that you Like if you're like this, you're gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
It's that balance between like being strong and stable on the bike, but also being nimble.
I feel like
Enough
that's like
to-
a metaphor for life. That
Thank
goes
you.
back,
That's what I was saying. Yes.
it goes back to what you were saying earlier.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, if you think about it, and so I always say, you know, what do you get from like your athleticism that you bring into your life? And I feel like
that's the kind of
how do you deal in
Yeah.
those like crazy situations?